Zdeněk Matěj Kuděj, writing as Zdeněk Matěj Kuděj, was a Czech journalist, traveller and writer. He was born in 1881 in Hořice, the son of construction engineer Jan Kuděj and Božena Fibigrová. He studied at the gymnasium in Příbram but did not finish his studies, working as a pharmacy assistant in Patzov and Sacka. In 1903 he won a boat ticket while in Hamburg and left for the US, where he worked among others as a lifeguard, labourer, lab assistant, dishwasher, cowboy and gold digger, before tramping his way across the US and Canada. In 1912 he went to Russia, where he was imprisoned for 6 months due to his likeness to a wanted anarchist. He was enlisted to fight in the First World War in 1917, but was released after pretending to have a mental illness. After the war he became a writer, journalist and translator. He died in Litomyšl in 1955. His most famous work besides his travel books is his parody Tarzan's Grandmother. We will review his 1918 The Mark of the Devil. The title story concerns engineer Hernich getting bored by both high and low society until he meets the elegant Miss Strigova. He is charmed by her thoroughly and is invited to spend time at her castle. The first room he enters is all laid out in red and black and full of disturbing books on witchcraft and related paraphernalia. This rings no alarm bells. Then he meets the woman's friends, Miss Devil and the director Hell. It is slightly less obvious in Czech, but only just. They all have a great time until Hernich goes to sleep, when he suddenly sees a cat walk up to his bed and then turn into Miss Strigova. He wants to say something but cannot move or speak. Then she lathers him with some concoction and turns him into a horse and rides him to a witch's sabbath, along with Miss Devil and the director Hell, who it turns out is the devil. The following morning Hernich wakes up in bed and thinks it was all a dream, but he finds the silver tray where the salve which turned him into a horse came from, and he still thinks it was a dream. The next day this happens again, and he still thinks it was a dream despite the pain he feels in his limbs and in his mouth from holding on to the bit. He then goes away and runs off from a further invitation to join her at the castle and goes travelling. Then he meets the two ladies in the resort, and still thinks nothing happened, and he and Miss Strigova become engaged. Upon returning to her castle she has an argument with Director Hell, whom Hernich proceeds to smack across the face. He appears to him again dressed as the devil, and says Miss Strigova is his lover and wife and to check her body for the devil's mark. Hernich finds it, stabs her to death and drowns in the swamp. The mysterious physician concerns the factory owner Demel, who is recovering from a stroke at the thermal baths. A strange doctor named Altotas comes into his presence, just as he internally bemoans his lost youth and vigour, and reads his thoughts exactly. Then Demel hears of Altotas' reputation as a brilliant physician, and begs him to help him recover. He does, then offers Demel the ability to get young again, in exchange for 1 million. Then he admits he owns the elixir of life, was a personal pupil of Paracelsus himself, and had the philosopher's stone stolen from him by his infamous pupil Cagliostro. He has one last dose of the elixir left, and requires immense sums to recreate it. Demel agrees to buy it, but breaks the phial on accident, dying of a stroke, while Altotas goes mad and is found beating up the corpse before he too dies in an asylum.